The panic. I was just trying to defend myself.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Dougherty, let's talk for a second about self-defense.
All right.
Now, when Fit Newton walked into the room, he wasn't holding a handgun in his hand, was he?
No, but he was thrashing about immediately.
Once again, my question was, he wasn't holding a handgun.
No.
You understand it?
Yes.
And he never at any point brandished a handgun or any other kind of weapon at you, isn't that right?
No, he didn't.
In fact, at no point during that entire night did you see any part of a weapon on Philip Newton, isn't that right?
No, but I thought he had a gun when he reached for his jacket pocket.
Right. You only thought that. You didn't actually see it.
Yes, I thought that.
Now, if I could move on for a second, you did have a gun, isn't that right?
Yes, I did.
It was an antique revolver, isn't that true?
It was.
But for you, this wasn't the kind of antique that you put in a display case, isn't that right?
I'm sorry?
For you, on April 1st, you didn't put this antique in a display case, did you?
No, I didn't.
In fact, for you, on April 1st, this antique gun was hidden inside your desk drawer, loaded with modern ammunition.
Well, that's what the man at the store told me to buy. I brought it to him, and that's what he told me to buy.
So you're testifying for the jury that the man at the gun store told you to purchase an antique revolver to defend yourself?
No, the gun was old, but years ago when I went to get it loaded, that's what he told me.
Now, did you by any chance get this gun loaded in the 18th century?
No, certainly not.
Okay. Now, let's move on for a second from this gun. You never were trained on how to fire it, isn't that true?
Yes, that's true.
And you've never been trained on how to fire a single-action gun at all, isn't that also true?
That's true, yes.
So clearly you don't know the expert technique known as fanning, isn't that also true?
I'm sorry?
You don't know the expert technique known as fanning to fire a gun, isn't that right?
I'm not really sure what you mean.
When you hold down the trigger and pull back the hammer in rapid succession, you don't know that technique because you've never been trained on how to use it, isn't that right?
Well, I've never been trained.
So you don't know it, isn't that true?
It's a way to fire a gun.
Do you or do you not know the expert technique known as fanning that I just described?
Well, I'm not really sure.
Is that or is that not how you fired the gun that night, Miss Dougherty?
Well, I really don't know. It was all a blur, and I had my head turned away.
Exactly. Because on direct examination, you testified that you didn't even know what you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing.
So it's fair to say then, since you didn't know what you were doing, you really weren't acting rationally. Isn't that accurate?
No, clearly I wasn't acting rationally.
Now, if I can move on from the gun for a second. Before all this happened, you received a text message from Fit Newton that said, "Call me," isn't that right?
Yes.
That was the first text message between the two of you that entire night.
That I read, yes.
And you're sure that you're telling the truth?
Yes.
Your Honor, let the record reflect I'm tendering a copy to the court, or rather I'm tendering a copy to the witness after showing opposing counsel what has previously been entered into that evidence. May I retrieve the previous copy that was used?
Thank you. Counsel may.
Now you recognize this particular document to be a true and accurate depiction of every single phone message as well as conversation between yourself and Fit Newton.
Well, I don't really know what this is. I've never seen it before.
Okay, so your attorneys never showed you this particular document?
Well, they might have. They showed me a lot of
All right,
documents.
but reading
I've
the
never
front,
seen
you
it.
understand what it is, isn't it right?
Yes, it's a document that Detective Tawaliga used in his investigation.
And you understand that it's an official transcript that is true and accurate as stipulated, isn't that right?
If it's stipulated, then I guess it must be.
Okay. If I could direct your attention to text message number 6. Now, Ms. Dougherty, this text message was sent at 7:40 p.m. 20 minutes before you claim you got back to your phone, isn't that true?
20 minutes before I returned to my office, I think, yes.
And you didn't have your phone with you at that time, isn't that right?
I didn't have my phone.
And at 7:48, you sent another text message, or rather,
No, I
your
didn't.
phone sent another text message, which is 12 minutes before you claim you got back to it.
I'm sorry, is this a question? I did not send a message from my phone at 7:48.
By reading that document, you realize that somehow your phone sent that message at 7:48, even though you weren't with it, isn't that right?
I suppose, but I don't really know.
Ms. Dougherty, does your phone have a habit of sending text messages by
Well,
itself?
honestly, I don't really understand my phone. I'm not very good with technology. I guess that's why I chose art as a career.
That's why you chose art. All right, let's move on from all of this. Now, you were the only living person in the room at 8:40 p.m., isn't that true?
8:40. I can't remember exactly.
Well, it's fair to say that 8 minutes before the detectives arrived, Philip Newton was already dead.
Philip was dead, but I'm not sure exactly when Talbot arrived.
Okay. And you claim that at this point you were just sitting behind your desk frozen.
When Talbot got there, that's what I was doing.
Now, if I could direct your attention to what has already been entered as Exhibit 1C. May I retrieve the previously used evidence? Your Honor, let the record reflect I'm showing opposing counsel, Exhibit 1C. Now, you recognize this second clock to be your own antique after it was shattered and stopped, isn't that true?
Yes, I'm not really sure of the condition, but it is my clock.
You understand that it's been stipulated, and your attorneys have surely filled you in on the fact that this clock was shattered and stopped, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the time on this clock reads 8:40 p.m., isn't that right?
Yes, but you see, that clock is, as you said, an antique. It's not set very accurately.
Now, just to be clear, this antique clock that wasn't set very accurately lay right in front of you when you were doing all your desk work, isn't that right?
It did.
And it was the only clock in that entire room, isn't that true?
Well, I believe there was a clock on my phone, on my desk phone.
On your desk phone. So you're claiming that this clock, and you know this for a fact, was running fast?
No, I don't know. I just know that it wasn't terribly accurate. It was an antique.
Okay. Even though you went through this on a day-to-day basis, you can't tell the court if it was running fast, if it was running slow, or if this clock you left on your desk.
Objection,
was
Your Honor.
running.
Argumentative and compound question.
Your Honor, may I respond? This is not a compound question. This is also cross-examination. I'm simply asking the witness to clarify her response.
Okay.
May I respond? I do believe counsel used the word "or" 2 times, which implies a compound question.
May I respond?
Yes.
There was only one predicate verb in this particular question, and thereby it's only one question with 3 objects.
Let me just ask this. Witness, do you understand the question?
No.
Okay, then let me ask you to break it down.
Absolutely. Now, you said that this clock wasn't accurate. Was it running fast?
I don't know.
You said this clock wasn't accurate. Was it running slow?
Again, I don't really know if it was running, how fast it was running, how fast or slow. It was there for its antique value.
Right in front of you when you're doing all your work, isn't that right?
On my desk, yeah.
Now, if I could direct your attention to the same time period.
All right.
Now, you took Phip Newton's tape recorder and hid it before the police could arrive, didn't you?
No. I don't even know that Phip Newton had a tape recorder. I never...
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes.
In this cross-examination, I'm asking the witness to respond based on her own knowledge. If she has no knowledge of it, she can respond as she just did.
I stand by my objection.
Okay, overruled.
So, you claim you don't know about a tape recorder at all.
I don't.
If I could direct your attention to the second bullet. Given that not a single bullet was found at the crime scene, Miss Dougherty, where did it go?
I have no idea.
Given that not a single casing from that gun that you twice fired was found anywhere in that office, where did you put them?
I didn't put them anywhere.
All right, well, you will admit to this. After all this happened, as soon as the detectives left the scene, you were with Talbot when he made a phone call to a cleaning crew. Isn't
Yes,
that right?
after the detectives had looked at the scene and left.
So just to be clear, on the same night you killed Phip Newton, you hired individuals to clear out and clean up your entire office.
Yes, he'd made quite a mess smashing my diplomas.
Nothing further, Your Honor.